Imaralam, Imarale Maragam, Imaralam, Imarale Maragam, Imaralam, Imarale Maragam, Imarale Maragam. What would you want your you? All on the audience. Oh, the one lily, commander of music. Akuna Biakalao, I want to learn Anagabia, Amaria Maru, Amanawa Matua. I want to marry baby. I want now when I marry who carry on. I want to be a one. Now when I marry who carry on. I want
Hello there, good evening, and so much thanks for joining us again on your program, People and Governance. Water is a fundamental human need. Did you know that you need at least 20 to 50 liters of safe, clean water daily for drinking, for cooking, and for keeping yourself clean? That shows that water is obviously essential. But sanitation is a complementary use of water. That is our focus on today's edition of the program, People and Governance. My name is Nora Okafor. You're welcome. Water everywhere and yet none to drink is a popular cliche. That may be the reason the United Nations chose access to water and sanitation for all as one of the Sustainable Development Goals. According to recent statistics, only 2/3 of Nigerian population has access to safe drinking water sources. The World Health Organization says about 85% of diseases that afflict people are waterborne. Thus, frightening statistics underscores the importance of safe drinking water. A 2017 multiple indicator survey indicates that most Nigerian households depend mainly on external sources for drinking water. Most homes do not have access to potable water within their premises. This is why there is incessant outbreak of cholera in the country. Also, a 2017 World Bank report said Nigeria provided clean water to fewer than 10% of its city dwellers in 2015, representing a 4% fall from 1990. The report further shows that 68% of Nigerians are said to buy or source water from locations outside their homes. Most of the water they consume is from sachets, bottle, water taps, wells and boreholes depending on locations. The United Nations Children's Fund in March this year said 60 million Nigerians still lack access to potable water, and more funds must be invested to ensure access to this basic amenity. The report maintains that if nothing is done, only 72% of Nigerians will have access to potable water supply by 2030. Abia is not left out. In fact, Abia State can be said to be one of the hardest hit. On assumption of office in 2015, Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu directed the Ministry of Public Utilities to immediately commence the reactivation of the 52 water schemes that are scattered in various parts of the state. The decision was reached at the second State Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor. This was aimed at tackling the challenge of potable water scarcity. The project was expected to be handled in batches. One of the affected communities is Uturu in Isukwato local government area. The people in this part of the state rely on shallow waters that crisscross the area for water supply. For those that live in areas that are far away from these rivers, they spend several hours fetching water in plastic containers that is already contaminated. Help came their way during the Second Republic when the administration of late Samuel Mbakwe built a water intake station beside Ihuku River in Ukuwango village. The station gets its water from this shallow river. After functioning for a few years, the water station collapsed due to lack of maintenance. The reactivation of the facility commenced in November 2015 and was completed in December. It was commissioned by Governor Okezie Ikpeazu on 31st December 2015. It was executed through direct labor by the Abia State Water Board and the Ministry of Public Utilities. Since the reactivation of the Uchu Water Scheme, it has been providing safe drinking water to the people who are living close to the facility. It has also alleviated the sufferings of the people in the area of water supply. As long as it continues to function, the beneficiaries will no longer depend on contaminated water from this river. However, after the reactivation of the Uchu Water Scheme, it does appear that government lost steam. It has failed to fulfill its promise of reactivating other abandoned water projects in other parts of the state. Following the failure of the government to fulfill its part of the contract, the people are providing their own water by sinking water borehole. Though the water from boreholes may look clean, experts maintain that such water is completely unfit for human consumption. Some of the boreholes are sunk close to septic tanks. Sadly, the state government seems to be compounding the woes of the people through the imposition of levies on owners of borehole in the state. Today, there is complete absence of potable water in Abia State, though some may claim that it's a national problem. There is nothing that shows that this sorry state of affairs will change soon. It should be noted that the people of Umuahia had access to potable water for some time during the administration of former Governor Theodore Orji. People and governors sought to know how Abians survive without access to safe drinking water. Well, people and governors was on the streets to actually sample people's opinion, how they feel buying borehole water. Why hasn't the government provided essential commodity as water? The Ministry of Public Utilities and Water Resources, what is their role?
We spent quite a lot. Government has failed in that aspect. They allow the citizens do everything for themselves, yet people pay taxes. Those are some of the things government should do for people. People buy water. If you can't afford the dispenser, you buy the pure water, you buy bottle. People are always buying water. So you can imagine how the pure water business is thriving. It's doing so well because everybody wants something good. You know, nobody, even if the water is not really as pure as we may want, but people, that is to tell you the extent people want something good. You know, so government has not done well at every level. You know, in the provision of potable water. It feels, you know, painful, you know, that you could have used that money to just, you know, purchase other food items for the house, knowing that, okay, you're going to get good. Had it been water is coming from government's reservoir, you know that one will be treated, you know. So it doesn't feel good. And I don't think anybody likes, you know, appreciates it, no matter how highly placed you are. If you are not able to benefit anything from government, for goodness sake, it's water we are talking about. It is water. I should be able to go to my tap, open it, and take water and drink from there. Why can't I drink from my sink? I keep asking, why can't I just use my cup, go to my sink, and take water to drink? It's a terrible thing that I have to always go to the dispenser to take the one I feel is cleaner. Yes, so it is really not fair. I don't feel good about it, and I think government should, you know, rise up to the occasion and do the needful.
And tonight, our guest is a medical practitioner. He talks on the importance of not just water, but clean and safe water for humans.
The issue about the water from the borehole is that the way people drink the borehole and started consuming without check and balances is wrong. Naturally, any source of water needs to be tested and treated, just like a public water supply. That's the problem we have there. Because most of the boreholes should have the rules. At times you see a borehole be situated or sited near a water or sewage system. There will be contamination from bacteria and viruses, protozoas and other things. This is not right. So the people, the agencies and the public health department should come out on specific rules guiding the siting of boreholes. And moreover, after a borehole drilling, before the water is being consumed, there should be an adequate test to know whether there's any contaminants, heavy metals such as arsenic, is very, very dangerous. It can lead to a lot of diseases in human beings. It can lead to mimic something we think that we have malaria and all those things can come up. So that's why it's necessary for the water to be tested before consuming. I cannot just put a blanket ban that all the boreholes are not good for consumption. No. The ones tested and certified will be good for consumption. But those ones that are not been tested, nobody knows what the people have been exposed to. That's why it must be necessary. And even not testing it once, there should be a routine check on the borehole, because borehole can be contaminated after the initial certification if it's exposed to maybe something going under the well, because this is the water that's accumulated under the well and pumped out the underground water. So anything is possible. Or if a borehole has been sited here and later there's a sewage system sited close to the borehole, it can lead to contamination. When you mean absence of water, maybe you are talking about a municipal water scheme or general public water supply system, which has not been on for a reasonable number of years in the state and some major cities. Has been noted, and is a potential danger because the residents are forced to source water from all types of areas to maintain their daily needs, which will expose them to a lot of diseases. So, and we are aware about what we call the waterborne diseases. Most of the waters will be contaminated, especially from the streams and also from what they call the water tankers. But nobody knows the state of the hygiene of inside the tank. It's not properly cleaned. The rust and other things will expose people to heavy metals and a lot of bacterial viruses. Well, this area of non-accountability, when you ask people to pay certain levies, they will take it back and ask what is the money being used for. If actually the citizens are seeing what the money is being used for, there's no crime or anything wrong in government putting a levy on something. But the issue, after paying all these levies, the services will not be done. Because this levy should be what should be used for the routine test and all these boreholes for people to have the confidence to go on and consume any water from them.
And People and Governance sought the opinion of the Commissioner for Public Utilities and Water Resources in Abia State to know the efforts of the Abia State government in providing water and other essential amenities for humans in Abia State.
Would you honestly say that your ministry in Abia State have been able to produce potable water and ensure that people have access to clean, safe drinking water?
You know, in everything in life, you can never say that things are perfect or complete. Perfection is an attribute of God Almighty. But I would say that we as human beings, we are doing our best to ensure that SDG goal number 6, that's what it is met. Provision of water and sanitation and hygiene. So we're doing our best to ensure that Abians, have access to safe and hygienic drinking water. In terms of what we are doing to get that achieved, we have a lot. As you may have heard, you said in conjunction with other development partners like Coca-Cola, they were able to build sanitation and water facilities at Isukwato and Ohafia, because this is a very wide field which some people do not know. If you're talking about provision of water, it doesn't end there. The water that you have provided has to be safe, it has to be provided in a hygienic environment. Coca-Cola and you said United States Agency for African Development, International Development, they were able to build these water and sanitation facilities in Ohafia and Isukwato. The state government went and commissioned it. Those facilities that were commissioned were not the only one. They are already scattered all over the place. So that's one achievement. Another thing that we are doing during the Sam Mbakwa administration, 57 water schemes were built in Abia State. This part of Abia State used to be part of Imo State. So we inherited these 57 water schemes, including Umuahia, Umopara Regional Water Scheme, including Aba Regional Water Scheme, Umuobiakwa, so many, 57. So successive administrations, except this one, paid lip service to the reactivation and rehabilitation of those water schemes. It was only this administration, when we came on board, that we said no. Because you also realize that provision of water is no longer social service, in the sense that you can no longer go to a river and fetch water and have the belief that the water you are going to drink from the river is safe. It's not safe because it's untreated. Even borehole water that everybody is relying on is unsafe. It's untreated. So these water schemes needed to be rehabilitated and reactivated. Now the federal government, gave out a contract for the reactivation of Aba Regional Water Scheme, but the Israeli company called JDP turned out to be a scam. They collected more than 500 million naira from the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, and the Aba Regional Water Scheme has remained comatose. It was never rehabilitated. Now, when we came on board, because of the expensive nature of water, it's very, very expensive. It will take nothing less than 3 billion naira for the state government to reactivate Umuahia and Umopara Regional Water Scheme, and probably Aba or Umobekwa and Ikuano and all that. So we said no. There is one Belfius Bank of Belgium that offered us some financial facility of 20 million euro to rehabilitate this Umuahia, Umopara Regional Water Scheme and Aba. And the pursuit of that loan facility is at advanced stage now. We were able to go through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources that gave the approval. We went to Federal Ministry of Finance that gave the approval. It is now with DMO's office. And I'm sure it will be included in the 2019 borrowing plan of the federal government of Nigeria, because the money is down. They are just waiting for the necessary documentation to be done in these offices that I have just mentioned, and we have already gone through 2 of them. It's remaining with the DMO now, and that loan will be granted. So I am hoping that by first quarter of 2019 that we would have been able to access that money and rehabilitate these 2 major water schemes. If we are able to provide potable drinking water in Aba and Umuahia, I think we would have that would be a milestone. And not only that, it's not just, we're not only relying on this facility for the provision of water. We have engaged this same, you said, United States Agency for International Development. We have engaged them, and if you were following, They just left Abia State. They brought a team here after we had attended several workshops and the meetings with them. Abia State was chosen as one of the 6 states, that will benefit from USAID program for provision of good potable water in Nigeria. And their team just left Abia. They were here for 1 good month. They went to every town. They went to Aba. They went to places in Umuahia and they interviewed the people because it's very rigorous. And we held two workshops and concluded here in my office. And then they went back to present their report. Then after presentation of the report, the team will now come back, probably 1st or 2nd week of January, and the rehabilitation that will result in the provision of water, good potable drinking water to Abians will start. So we are also utilizing the opportunity provided by USAID, because their own, that one, I think the amount of money involved is around 12 million USD. 12 million USD, they are not going to give it to Abia, but they will use the money by themselves to provide the materials that are needed to provide this water running in Umuahia and Aba. So they will do the thing that by themselves, and we will only help them by providing them with the human resources that they may need to work with their own team and make sure that this thing is done and done very well.
Okay, sir, apart from what you just mentioned, one of the greatest challenges we seem to have in Abia State is not the fact that people, because there is no water made available by the government for the people, almost every household have water. But the challenge is that this water they have are not potable drinking waters. So they have to find themselves buying either sachet water, dispenser water, or even bottled water, spending so much money to have. And of course, households who are able to have boreholes, as the case may be, and for others who can't afford to sink boreholes in their houses, are being taxed by the state government. And for them, it also poses a challenge. How do you intend to tackle this?
Like I said earlier, borehole water is unsafe. The fact that government is taxing them, whereas they are the ones that are providing the water for themselves, does not mean that what they are saying is true. The major challenge that government has is how to provide the people with good, potable, and safe drinking water. And that is what we're trying to do. Once the government is providing this water for the people, the issue of taxation of the private borehole owners will no longer arise. We are keeping calm because we are yet to provide them with the quality water that they need. And the moment we are able to do that, we will shut down most boreholes that you see around. Most of them are totally unsafe. Some of them are drilled very close to the sock-away pits, toilet facilities that you have in the houses. So it's totally unsafe. And when you have a borehole here and you have a sock-away pit there, going by the short space, there is bound to be some kind of contamination or mixture of things somewhere on the ground, and such things, it doesn't take somebody to be highly educated to know that such things are not safe.
But sir, shouldn't there be a criteria for allowing these people sink these boreholes, since we know that it's for human consumption? Shouldn't we have rules? Shouldn't we have regulations? For
we do have, But you know,
they're not heard to.
yes, you know the situation. We do have such rules. Even the water board has a law setting up the water board. But just because, as I said, government has not been able to completely provide the people with the quality water that they need. And everybody is aware of the hardship that everybody is passing through because of the bad administration we have at the center of Nigeria, that's at Abuja. So if we should go ahead to insist on the implementation or observance of the rules, people may take to the streets. So we don't want that. What we do is to try to encourage them to ensure that their health standards are maintained. You know, anyone that we see that is too bad, we shut it down. The other time we did certain things at Aba concerning places that were completely untidy for human habitation and water provision and consumption. You know, we had to do something drastic, and that stopped. So we take it easy to continue to manage our people until we are ready, and I believe it's not going to take long.
How long is it going to take? How soon?
I already gave you, and I said the first quarter of next year that we are hoping.
January to March.
And that's the first quarter. We are hoping very by first or second week of January, you said people should be back, and by the time the 2019 budget of federal government is passed, we are hoping that the Bellevue's financial facility that I just told you from Belgium will be there, and we can access the money.
This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program People and Governance. If you garnered something today, then join us again same time station next week for another interesting, revealing and informing package. My name is Nora Okafor from the People and Governance production crew. Is compliments of the season. Good night.
I